Hey, it's Don, the Auction Professor here. We just got a haul. I talked about some records that we were getting. I literally have 2,000 almost in the car right this minute. I still have at least 2 or 3 more loads to go. There's roughly 7,600 records out of a storage unit. Now, I would have recorded it, but it's actually 8 below outside right now. The wind chill factor is 40 below and it's been snowing. So we're in a heated garage. This is usually where I keep stuff. We actually do some of our builds and stuff out here in the garage too in the winter. It's heated, of course. My son's got some equipment out here too. We've got all our drill presses and grinders and all that stuff out here too. So usually there's not a car in here, but today we're making an exception. I'm going to show it to you. We'll do some close-ups so you can see. Okay, so this is the first haul. There is actually 1,800 records in here. I think there's 17 boxes in here. Each box holds about 105 records. So this is the first of 4 hauls. The total haul lot was about, say, 7,600 records. As you can see, these are Walmart boxes. This is what I use. If you're going to pick up records or a ton like this, you always have to carry your own boxes because most of the time they're not boxed. You'll find them just on shelves. This was in a storage unit, as I said, all shelved up, lined up. I just started grabbing. I had a couple people with me too so we could get them all boxed up. When we went and loaded up the first one, they were boxing up the rest. I brought 82 boxes with me that we had to assemble. Taped them. Some of them ripped right away, but this is basically the gist of it. Some of these I save and have already assembled boxes, so when I go to pick up records and stuff, I already have the boxes and stuff actually to put the stuff in. If you do 78s or do a lot of records, you're going to need boxes. You'll see what I mean. A lot of times they'll be in totes and stuff, and it's just not safe. Records should never have stuff stacked upon them either, so I never ever stack too high unless it's my only choice and it means, you know, another trip for a couple boxes. Other than that, I never stack on top. Always, always, always stand records up on their end like you see them here every time. I don't care what's going on. This is the only way you should transport records if you think there's any kind of value. It may only take 1 or 2 records to get all my money back, but if I damage that 1 or 2 records, you know, it's going to be a big ordeal. Now, I looked through one whole box while I was at the place. I would have actually took some video there, but it was -8. The wind chill, it was 40 below zero outside, so literally we're in a heated garage right now. I cranked the heat up, so we're going to pull it in here to unload, and then we're going to show you some of what we got. I'll probably just flip a couple time lapses up here so you can see us unloading them and stuff. And again, I've probably got at least 2, maybe 3 more loads to go. So anyway, we're going to unload this. We'll do some time lapse. I'm going to show you some hauls, so you're going to see quite a few videos. I probably will no way get near all of these in there. I'm going to pull them out as I find them, box by box. Who knows what's in some of these? Again, I only know what was in one single box. When I pick this stuff up here, I literally will search through it until I find enough money, and then I will buy the lot. I found enough money or the potential in it from the very first box. So now we're just going to unload it. I've got a couple of guys here. We're going to do it. I've got Ian, which you saw, and Jordan's going to come on in here. I'm going to hand these off, and we're just going to get this out as quick as we can. The weather's terrible outside still. You can hear my heater just cranking back here right now. This is a not very greatly insulated place, so literally that heater is cranked the entire time we're out here. Second I opened that door, it was like 10 degrees in here, going down from 70 in just a matter of a few seconds. So anyway, without that heat, it would be probably about 10 below zero right now. So we're going to unload the car, and we're going to start from here. Okay, now we're back again. Been in the garage for a little while. The garage is warm again now. So this is load number 2. we will pop over. I'll show you just a quick scan. Again, there's about 1,800, maybe 1,900 or so records in the van this time. Again, I try not to stack them up. We've been counting how much will fit in here. It looks like I'll have to take the last load with a couple stacked on top of each other. I don't like to do that, but we've sat there and counted. They're all boxed up right now. Again, it's like 40 below zero, no exaggeration. We had the storm come in here. We're going to unload this here. I'll show you a quick close-up, and then we will go from there. This is load number 2. There's 1,900 records, somewhere in that range here. I don't know what's in these records, so you're going to see them firsthand just like I will. Be a good shot here if you can kind of see what's worth it, what I look for, what I'm going to pull out of here. And you'll see it from start to finish. So we're going to unload these right now. We got the guys here. We're going to unload it real quick, and then we're going to go for, again, as I said, the third one. Okay, so this is number 3. This is load number 3. We're actually kind of whipped already. If you've ever moved records, there's the one thing I can tell you, they weigh a ton, and I mean a ton. With the records that you're seeing in here, this is probably like 1,000 pounds maybe, I'm guessing, with that many boxes. Maybe it's even more than that. I don't know if you can tell, but my car is actually sitting low right now because of all these records in there. That's another thing I would recommend you watching out for when you're doing record hauls and stuff. I'm really tired, I'm sorry, but you'll see that they weigh a ton, so if you stack them up too, you could really overweigh it, and you can tell when you're moving down the road and the sway from the weight inside of the vehicle. This vehicle here, I pretty much just use for business. The seats come out so I can double use it. I've got 2 bench seats that came with the vehicle, obviously, but this one I take everywhere. I fit all kinds of stuff in this van, but with stuff like this, you got to be careful. You don't want water getting on these, so we're extremely careful with these. If these get wet, they can stick together, the covers can be damaged, and all kinds of stuff like that too. So just FYI, we'll show you a close-up here of them as well too. Okay, so this is load number 3. At this point, we're just trying to get this done. This is honestly a lot of work, but we're just going to finish this off, unload, and get the last load and be done with it. Okay, this is number 4, last load. It's done. Today's done. It's been a long, stressful day to say the least. I'm honestly whooped. I usually don't do this much manual labor for more than a few hours at a time. It's spent half the day now driving slow with the roads and stuff are all iced. It's below zero still. I think it's warmed up to like 32 below zero wind chill factor now. It's like 2 degrees negative outside right now. So at this point we're in. I don't have to take the car back out again. We're going to unload it real quick and we'll go from there. But I'll show you one more close-up here on what's in the car just so you can see. I had to do what I didn't want to do, which is stack the boxes. But at this point, I don't want to do another drive for just a few boxes. Ian's taken in one little stack that we didn't want to worry about putting another box together for one more stack. So this is the last load right here. As you can see, it's pretty full. Again, I had to stack them on top of each other just because of how many we had left. I didn't want to take another trip for just a couple boxes, but this is what we got. This is the last load. another 20 boxes or so in the car at this point. So it's roughly like 75, 76 boxes. I think we got something like that right now. So that's what we have. We're going to unload this, and we will try and get you some video on what's actually in the haul. Okay, so now here we are. We're actually in our basement. Obviously, Marky's here with us again. She was inside helping to sort and put all the records where they go. So we do stack them in the house. I put, layers of cardboard and all between. I, again, use these, or I use extra sheets of cardboard or something for it. We haven't really looked through these. I'm dying to look through them. I'm just going to grab a couple here just to show you. It's all mixed stuff.
Ooh, the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's got the cello on it. We love music. I actually have our turntable on. You can see the surround in here. We're in the area in our house in the basement. There's actually you can just kind of see it. There's a 10-foot movie screen here. And on this side, I've got a curtain that closes it off so we can watch movies anytime we want. But we'll put music on down here and, the whole works, or put the little light effects and stuff, and we'll hang out and have family movie night and stuff. There's a big wraparound sofa. I think you can kind of see maybe just a corner of it over here on this side. But area we don't see most of the time. But we love music. So me and her will go through these records, and we'll all know most of the songs in here. I remember this when it played in the theater, honestly. What's the other one you got there?
This one.
Tango in the Night. Fleetwood Mac. I like Tango in the Night. I like Big Love's a good song.
Stevie Nicks.
I know. How can you go wrong? Everywhere is a good song. Seven Wonders, of course, but my favorite on this is Big Love. So,
I like Big Love too.
Tango in the Night's good too. I mean, it's a good album. Yeah. So anyway, these are newer records. There's a mix of records in here. We paid well over $1,000 for all of these. There's like 7,800 records here, all LPs, all in primo condition, or for the most part. There's a few crapped out ones, but I picked through one box of these. I don't even know which box it is anymore at this point, because again, they've just been brought in. We've got like 70 plus boxes of these records in here. You saw them when they're coming in. These things weigh 100 and some odd pounds. I'm just going to cram these in here. They're not in any order. We're each probably just going to pick a bag and maybe talk about some of the music in here. A box, I'm sorry. Pick a box and just talk about something in here. Again, there's no order. You can see the quantity of boxes. I kind of feel like a DJ without a turntable because we can't play anything here. So we thought maybe we would just sing it to you whenever we get a song up, and, we'd go from there. Well, of course, we're not going to do that, but we'll shout out some. I will let the wife go first, and she will see what we got in the boxes.
Just the first one out of it?
Just pull something out of there. Pull a stack out. Maybe we can just pick through those.
Okay. Let's see.
I don't know how to show these very well. We haven't done this before. I mean, we buy records all the time, but it's mostly 45s and 78s.
Ooh, Janis Joplin.
That's a nice Janis Joplin.
Cosmic Blues.
Janis Joplin. I don't know who's a Janis Joplin fan, but if you see it actually has cellophane still on it. Let's see what the record looks like. Record needs cleaning, but it actually has no scratches. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, they're dusty.
See the quality. These have been sitting for like a decade or better, probably, from what I understand. Some maybe even 15 years or so. There's some newer stuff in here, believe it or not. So I don't know how true that is, but with the dust on some of these, I would say they've been sitting for a while.
And then I have Grateful Dead, Working Man's Dead.
Yeah, I'm not a Grateful Dead fan. I only remember.
I mean, I know they're.
They had one out in the '80s. I Will Get By, or I can't remember their
Touch of Grey.
Touch of Grey. That's it. So I mean, I wish we could play these, because usually when we're in here doing this, she'll throw on a record and then I'll throw on a record. Bowie, you got to have something like that play. We listen to a lot of stuff like that. Kiss, I'll throw on, but Beastie Boys are one of our favorites. It's very hard to get a record of those, in fact. If I
And
get
I
one
have
in
a
here,
good
we're
one.
keeping it.
James Gang, Rides Again, Joe Walsh. You gotta love Joe Walsh.
Yeah, I grew up on that kind of stuff.
I like the back. It's got them on their motorcycles.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Typical. I love the hat on that. So let's see so you can see them a little better.
Yeah.
Again, these are all vintage. One thing to look for when you're looking at records like this: no barcode. You do not want a barcode. I mean, some of them look like there's a few that have damage. Like, unfortunately, this one.
That one.
I'll worry about looking at the record itself later. These can still sell if it's a good record for 10 or 15, even with that damage. People will have a good cover, and then the record will have scratches in it. I save just covers for real good high-dollar records when I don't get the record or the record is scratched. So keep that in mind. Don't trash the covers because you can sell a cover without a record if it's a good cover. So just FYI. Good records.
Yep, and I have actually Joe Walsh.
Oh, and that's when he was on his own. Yeah, I remember when that came out.
Life's Been Good to Me. That's a classic.
I remember the videos and all that when that stuff came out. So I'm giving away my age, but this is, I love music. For those who don't know, this is an original
Put that on the wall.
gatefold record. Let me show them real quick here.
That's so nice.
Gatefold. It opens up. That's the gatefold. There's trifolds, and then there's some that are double record on these gatefolds too. No barcode. Good record. This is a first pressing more than likely. So what else we got here?
I have no idea who these people are. Cold Blood, First Taste of Sin.
Let's take a look at that one.
Yeah.
This is what would be called, well, let's see if it's got some cellophane. It even has back in the day at a record store, they'd have just numbers or letters on an area, and that would tell you the price. You'd have to look it up on the wall. For those of you who didn't go to a record store, but this is probably what you call psych. You'll see psych written on the title in eBay, and that is psychedelic. This is 72. This is kind of like a heavy, I don't know how to say this, but more like a drug-induced trance, I guess you'd say. This is somewhat my kind of music.
No.
Not that way, but I love the 60s music too. I listen to everything. You can pretty much go across my gambit in the records. One thing the two of us have, I've got more than 100,000 MP3 songs. We've got a huge database of songs. Most of these records that you see like this one may not have a CD or an MP3 available, so I burn stuff all the time off of a record. I don't mind if it has the pops and stuff. I can get rid of that in several different programs if I want. I got all the audio software, but I like some of that. I grew up on it. As long as I don't skip if there's a pop or something here. I remember fondly the listening, hanging out with friends, drinking some beer or something when legal age was 18 at one time.
They changed it, and I didn't get to benefit from that.
Back in the day, everybody drank, whether it was old enough or not. So, I mean, it was just... Those who were, older, there used to be places, and everywhere I lived that was called like a motorhead, and you just cruised around, and sometimes on the weekend there'd be like 300-400 cars. We'd all hang up out there. Around here, there used to be a McDonald's in there, and then the police put road bumps in so you couldn't go through fast, and they made you go out on the highway. They did everything. But back then, if you got busted with stuff in your car, they would make you dump out the beer and tell you to get out of there. They see you again, then they'd hassle you. But, stuff like that was a typical thing on the weekend around here. But anyway.
I was babysitting on the weekends in Mississippi.
We grew up in different lives, but, we fit together very well.
Oh, I'm sorry. The next one. Chicago.
Now I don't know every specific album, so I'm not sure what's on that.
I like Saturday in the Park and If You Leave Me Now. Those are good songs.
Oh, it doesn't even say.
It's got a big old hair sticking out of it. Ugh.
Oh, this one. Hang on. Check this out. Check this out.
Oh, wow.
Some of these are, sometimes it looks like it's double records, and Chicago's been known. I've had another one with, I think it had 25 and 624 on it, which had a big poster. It looks like this is another one. Check this out.
Oh, that's so cute.
Primo condition. Look at the condition on that.
Oh, wow.
And it looks
Look
like
at that dude's shirt, too. That's pretty
cool. I mean, this is the kind of thing. These posters, I sold one from a Doors record, I think it was, and then one from a Bob Dylan record for like $80 just for the poster.
Is this another poster?
Yeah, another poster. There's two posters in here. Yeah, sometimes these are booklets, but here's another poster.
Damn, that's... Where the hell are you going to put that?
Check this out. Hold it up so we can show how big this thing is. This is what they used to give away in records. believe it or not.
Oh, this is nice for the ladies.
I've never seen this one. You're not putting it on the wall.
Take
we don't
those
do that
glasses.
Stuff. But this is what I remember growing up when you opened up a record. You never knew what was inside. Sgt. Pepper's has a whole bunch of stuff in there. One of the ELOs has a spaceship in it. I've had 4 or 5 of those in probably the last 2 months. Always sells. Sgt. Pepper's has like cutouts and all kinds of stuff in it.
Yeah.
But what else you got there?
Oh, Blondie. I love Blondie. Rapture. Rapture wasn't one of my favorite songs, though. I liked Rip Her to Shreds, Susie and Jeffrey, Ex-Offender.
Yeah, I don't remember all the names, but I liked Blondie, too. We listened to it together.
I roller skated to Blondie with the disco ball.
This is not a regular record. This is some kind of import.
Oh, the back looks neat, too.
If you can tell, it's thin. Let's check this one out, because I don't know what this one is. It is... Do you see a country on it? Made in France.
Oh,
this
wow,
is a French
France.
pressing. This is actually a disco mix only, and it's a single, too.
So what's on the...
There's 2 songs on here, then.
Live It Up.
Live It Up, I don't know.
I don't know that one.
And it's a Rapture special disco mix. Now, some of these records like that were issued back then for like clubs, and only a certain amount of these are pressed. So we're going to have to look some of these up.
Yeah.
I did put my phone here, but there's just so many records. I'd be here all day looking up a couple records. I can pretty much guarantee you, like the posters in this one here, I wouldn't expect us to get less than, say, $20 or $30 minimum on this. Who knows exactly? I don't know. I'm going to have to look up some of these. But the quality on them is excellent. I don't have any issues in probably selling something like this for 20 or 30. Again, we got over 1,000 into it, but again, there's over 7,000 records here. There's close to 8,000 records. So what else you got there?
Hermans Hermits.
Hermans Hermits.
Yeah, they got like... It reminds me of the Mad Magazine cartoons.
Oh, yeah, it does, doesn't it?
On the back. Into Something Good. They sang that, right? And,
yeah. If you listen to Naked Gun, or not Naked Gun, you ever see the movies Naked Gun? That's in one of the movies there. Leslie Nielsen. Bomb movies. We got them all 3 of them.
Look at those dudes.
Hermans Hermits.
Mrs. Brown, You Have a Lovely
Oh,
Life.
yeah, I remember that one. We go back, so when I was a kid, that's 60s played on the radio. So my parents listened to it in the car. I know all this music, too. Obviously, I like, some newer music. Beastie Boys is one of my favorite. And she's got something she likes here. Here's somebody she likes.
These are my absolute favorites. Ike and Tina Turner.
I don't know about
Absolutely
being a fan
love
of
them.
some of Ike's activities, but Tina's
I'm not talking
awesome.
about that. I'm talking about the music.
Yeah, the music's awesome.
Contact High is a really good song.
Mountain High or
Working,
Mountain Deep.
Working Together, that's a good one. And Sexy Ida, that's a really good song by them.
There's some old ones they got, too. There used to be the Ikeettes, if you're unfamiliar. Let's take a Harmony record. This one looks really nice. Again, I've got a record cleaner, so this will just be thrown in a record cleaner before we sell them. Record looks awesome. I don't know if you can see the reflection. No scratches, nothing. Again, these I'm guessing most every record in here is going to be like $10 on average, minimum.
Shake a Tail Feathers.
Shake a Tail Feathers, that's a good one too.
But Sexy Ida, that's a hilarious one. I love that one.
The Biggest Player is another one by Ike and Tina, but it's the Ikeettes, I think, that do it.
And I Want to Take You Higher.
I Want to Take You Higher is a real good one too. Yeah.
I know this
one,
but she's not my cup of tea. Dottie West.
This one's sealed. Hey, check this out. This one's sealed.
There's a reason. No.
I don't know what the sealed one, something like this is, but I would imagine almost any sealed one I could at least sell locally for $4 or $5 at a show or something. So I may do a record show here. I've done them in the past, so you can crank out some really good profits. It's just a matter of carrying them. I just take some employee with me or something for a day, have them watch the booth so I can still walk and we can eat and stuff. That's the only way to do a record show if you ever do one. I do them occasionally. I know I don't talk about everything, but not a big fan of this next one. I can tell you right now. I've seen that one.
Rush. All I can think of is Trailer Park Boys. The beginning of the movie to the Big Dirty. I think it was something
Fly by Night. I think that's the same song, actually, isn't it?
No, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Rush, Tom Sawyer is the one I know that played on the radio. I always thought...
The Spirit of Radio.
Spirit of Radio. Yep. I've heard of that one. Trailer Park Boys, just to call out if you haven't seen it. Our dog had to be with us, so she is sleeping on the sofa down here. Well, she heard us now,
I didn't want to hurt her.
Why don't you pull out a few more, then I'll throw some out of this box or something.
Ooh, okay. I got to put him in the front because
she saw something she likes.
I absolutely love... Ooh, shies.
Billy Idol. Billy Idol.
I was in the 8th grade when I had this exact same album.
Any 80s child should know Billy Idol. Turn them so they can see that you got the reflection.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Blue Highway is my absolute favorite song on this one.
I'll give you an insider that both me and my wife can talk about. We worked at Disney, and everybody came in through right where we actually worked, and we would take a break outside. Billy Idol came into he was like 10, 15 feet from us. And everybody and their uncle came in there star-wise, and they were entered in. There was a trailer right next to where we took our breaks at, and all the famous people would get all dressed up and had their outfits taken care of, everything in that building, and they'd walk right past us. Sometimes they'd talk to us and stuff. Billy Idol and his nurse, he was in a wheelchair.
Yeah,
he
cast on his leg.
I think he had a couple on, and he was all bandaged up too. He was in a bad motorcycle accident, and he said hey and all that to us and all, and he stopped because they weren't ready to roll him out for a show or something he was doing. Everybody came there when we were working there. But
really
been
wanted
a big
to
fan.
just
Big fan. He's in The Wedding
Singer.
Singer.
His autograph too.
Yeah,
couldn't.
If you asked for an autograph from a star, you could get fired on the spot.
Yeah.
If they offered to give it to you, or you did them a favor, can I do anything for you?
Yeah.
It's a different story, but you can't take anything or ever ask anybody for anything at Disney. That's just one of the rules. You're canned.
I mean, Billy Idol.
Billy Idol. Let's take a look at this one here. Let's see. Rebel Yell. I won't go any farther. We'll just go on to some more records, because I got a ton here. We could spend 2 straight weeks doing this.
This is pretty good. Deep Purple.
Deep Purple, that's a good record too.
Yeah, Smoke on the Water. Highway Star, yeah.
Highway Star is a
That's
good one.
Oh, and it opens up.
Yeah, it's another. Yeah, this one's good. Well, that's actually in still good condition. Must have had a little moisture on it. That's why I was saying earlier, don't get these things wet at all. Don't keep them in a moist car. Don't keep them out in the sun. What do they look like? Looks like an original, first press, 1970s. Oh, the record looks. Looks
nice.
spotless. Let's see if we can get a reflection on it. You should be able to see it. Spotless record. Again, there's a ton of records in here. I know my stuff for most of this stuff. I can go out and look and score on these. I know 78's probably better than anybody in this whole area. So when it comes to picking, if I'm the first one there, no one's getting anything. I can tell you right off the bat.
Yeah.
We've got a couple 100,000 records. I added almost 10,000 more just in one trip.
Oh, that's a nice
Who's Last? I don't know that one at all. This one's a barcode.
My Generation.
This was probably
I Can't Explain. That's a good one.
Yeah, Bob O'Reilly.
Oh, come on. Pinball Wizard, Who Are You?
I remember him on the radio. I never bought a
good
Who
one.
record. This one
And
is
it opens.
another gatefold. Let me show one more thing on here.
Oh.
That right there it tells me it's either this one was pressed since like 80 something, or it's a repress or a second pressing of an older record. I think this is probably when it was originally pressed, just by the dates of what I'm seeing here. Let's see what else you got.
I like Heart, but I didn't like this album.
Which ones is that one?
I liked when they had Barracuda and Kick It Out.
I like
Dog and the
let's see,
Butterfly.
what is on here?
I just didn't like that one particularly too much.
Never's okay. What About Love I like a lot. I saw them in person on this concert tour. They sung other ones too. They did Magic Man and the whole works. So
Magic Man's a good one.
Magic Man's a good one. Dockin'.
Oh yeah, Dockin'. I never had this, so
I didn't have it, but
look at the. Oh my gosh! Look at that.
I grew up. I wore the spandex. I had the long
dudes.
hair down to my waist when I was younger. So I hung out with people that looked like this on a daily basis at one time.
And now, if you wore that, you'd get
kicked off stage and laughed at. But back in the day, let's see what's on here.
Oh gosh, the next one.
Into the Fire, that's the only one I really know off this whole album. But again, these rock albums from this era are highly collectible. Not a ton for these, but $10-20. The Heart one, the same thing. The Who's probably $20. I haven't seen one in here that I don't think I could sell for at least $10. I've got 3 sites to sell them on. These will probably go up on Amazon, Discogs, and eBay all at the same time. So
I love this. This Cinderella.
I saw them in person. I'm a big Cinderella fan.
No, see, when I was a teenager, I always thought that was like badass.
So did I, honestly.
And then now look at him. Look at that guy.
I saw them in concert. Save Me is an awesome song. Nobody's Fool. Nice Songs is good. I have to say, I was a hair banger. I had long hair down to my waist. I won't give it up for anything. Nobody's Fool, Night Song. Shake Me is just an awesome song. Somebody Save Me is like my favorite of this group. I would have seen him in person, but Tom Kiefer, we got kids and I don't just get to see that. They were here not too long ago.
We got to dress up like that.
We did 80s night at one of the bars we've gone to, and we won 80s night. So
you won it.
Well, I had the hair and the whole work, so anyway.
And another Cinderella.
I like Cinderella. I like everything.
I'll pass that to you.
All the way to rap. all the way to classical. I love music. Audiophile here.
Europe.
What I can think about this song for any people or anybody who has kids who play some of the games, the final countdown was sung by this group, and it came out in the 80s, hair band metal again. I listened to that song, but it's in the video game that the kids play.
It's the hair.
I don't know what game it is, but it's in their game, and I hear it all the time. Maybe it's Grand Theft Auto or something like that, but...
Oh, okay.
Pink Floyd, I already know this one, The Wall.
Yeah, come on. Oh, do I have it upside down?
I think that's the back.
And it
yeah,
opens.
Something like that.
This is an original. Knows it opens.
No barcode. That's a $20 record.
Oh wow! Look at I like the art.
Let's see what the records look like. Let's see if the discs look okay. Oh, and it's
got
the original.
Posters in here?
These are the original liners. Now sometimes these are replaced, so just look out. If they're plain white on some records, they're not supposed to be white, or that says they're a later pressing. This looks like it's an original. Yeah, it's got the original label and everything. It's actually got Pink Floyd on there. Immaculate condition. I don't see a spot on the record anywhere. Again, I don't play all these records, so you don't have to play them if you know what a good record looks like. Always be careful putting them back in because you can rip the cardboard seam. The seam that holds some of these together is paper on it, so be careful.
Okay. Oh, like that.
Yeah, they're all mixed up. We'll
okay. Another Hermans Hermits.
Second Hermans Hermits.
Yep. No milk today.
I don't know what else is on this
there's
one.
kind of a Hush All Over the World.
That one I know. That's what it's
And Saturday's Child.
I don't know that one. I grew up on this again, so again, every run in here, now some of the Hermans Hermits I might only get $5, but if I throw them in a lot, I'll get 6 or 7 if I got it. It looks like I'm going to have a bunch of the same records or same groups. I haven't seen a single dupe in here at all so far, the few we looked. Plus, I said I looked through about 100 of these, so we're about 125, 130 in. Who knows? If there's a bunch of dupes, I'll be a little upset, but I don't think so by what I'm looking at. We pulled a few out when we were pulling them out. The wife looked at 1 or 2 in a box just to see, but that's about it.
I have no idea.
Funk
Reaction, Lonnie Smith.
What's that label on it? It's got a record store label on it, so it might be bought new. Lonnie Smith, this is like 70s funk. There might be, I don't know if anybody sells records, but if you sell records, you know what breaks are. If you want to know what breaks are, when you see the word breaks in a title on eBay or any record site, listen to the song Sweet Pea by Tommy Rowe. It's drum breaks in there, and that's what they're talking about. If this has drum breaks in it, which I'm almost sure Lonnie Smith does, it'll be worth some money. So anyway, let's move on. Roger
Wild
Miller.
Child by Roger Miller. Ooh.
So if anybody's like a 90s child at all, and you listen to Jackass, I don't want to cuss, but that's the name of the show. He did a scene where they were roller skating in the buffalo herd.
I didn't know who sang that.
Roger Miller sings "Don't Roller Skate in a Buffalo Herd."
You can't roller skate.
You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd, and that's actually in the Jackass. They used to film that when we lived in Florida in Windermere, Lake Windermere, and we used to see them in our neighborhood and stuff. And we used to see Steve-O downtown. One of the scenes he shot, we were in the area, and we actually saw them filming it. So
I think he was dressed up like a Red Devil. Wasn't he the one?
No, he was.
Oh,
he had the Uncle Sam with the stilts on, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I knew it was something.
But anyway.
Now I love what these chicks are wearing. The Sweet Inspirations.
Yeah, that one I've sold. That's like a $10 or $15 record.
I like
as long
the
As
Peter
it's
Pan
good.
collars on their dresses. That's
pretty
neat.
awesome. We like soul. Early soul is awesome.
It almost came out.
That's a split, which you're going to have. And on stuff like this, I don't repair anything when it splits like that. You just list it. People can tape it when they get home. People will still buy this as long as the disc is... Let's look at the disc before I say anything more. It's an early one, an original Atlantic. It's probably about a VG. It'll probably still sell. Probably get $7, $8. It's probably the lowest one so far I've seen. Why don't I hit up a box over here?
Okay, well they've got, I think, every Johnny Cash record.
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash are good if you get the right ones.
Oh, Folsom Prison Blues. Come on, you can't get better than that.
We will have to look these up. Sonny, why don't you pull out some of those if you want? Let's see what we got. Johnny Cash.
Okay. Yeah, they have a lot, or we have now.
We have a lot now.
Okay, there we go. That's some of them.
Let's just pop them up. Johnny Cash. Oh, here's a Son. Johnny Cash. It's split. Son, Johnny Cash. This is the first one. An Elvis record in a 45 on this label here is worth like $1,000 if it's a good copy of it.
Oh.
This one looks really nice. Hopefully you can. Let's see if I can get the glare. Can you see how nice the record looks? This is probably a $50 or $60 record, even with that damaged sleeve. If the sleeve, there's another Johnny Cash. If the sleeve, the cover wasn't split, This thing's probably $100 record in real nice condition. I don't. This condition's still
Johnny
50.
Cash.
Johnny Cash, the Rambler.
Ooh. Oh, this
Johnny
is sad.
Cash.
That's like, oh, look, see?
Another split one. Johnny
Yeah.
Cash. Another son. Another son. Johnny Cash. This is another son. His greatest hits.
Oh, cool. Look at him.
Well, that's a cool one too. We'll have to look these up
Yeah.
again. This is a rigid disc. Let's see the condition.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Nice condition. Hopefully you can see that. If the sleeve or the cover again is damaged, I will still sell these. These are $30, $40 Sun records here. I'm telling you that for $1,000, I've only looked through not even a box here that you're seeing. So I've probably got a couple $100 here easy off this first box.
I got a blast from the
Another.
the
And let me
90s.
show these off here. More Johnny Cash. Let me try and keep them up. Johnny Cash. Oh, here's a movie one too. I Walk the Line.
Oh, yeah.
The Walls of a
They liked
Prison.
Johnny Cash.
Some of these have radio station marks on it, it looks like, too. So that's a good thing, because it means the condition of the record should be better.
Hope I didn't get any dust.
More
on
Johnny
my
Cash.
coat.
Hey, if you haven't tried this stuff...
Oh, the peach cokes. Yeah,
oh
they're
gosh,
great.
This is the bomb. I don't know if anybody likes soda. I'm not a big soda drinker, but Georgia peach flavored Coca-Cola in the bottle. Got to be the bottle, but man, this stuff's the bomb. Well, you get the picture.
Yeah.
Kind of getting tired of looking at Johnny Cash.
A lot of Johnny Cash.
Nothing wrong with Johnny Cash. I like Walk the Line and, some of the old ones. Oh, here's
No
a good
doubt.
one.
And it's never been open.
Was that the No Doubt the new group?
No doubt from the 90s.
Yeah, it is.
Return
It's. Hey, check this out too. I don't know who remembers. Let's see what's on here.
Gwen Stefani.
Gwen Stefani. Yeah. I can't think of their first song. I'm Just a Girl.
Spiderwebs and
Spiderweb and
yeah.
I'm Just a Girl. This one's sealed. I don't know what this one's worth, but I have to imagine it's worth $20 or $30 minimum. What year is this from? 2000. I guess so far I haven't seen a record. I thought it was newer than that, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything in
Older
here.
than that, yeah.
Anything newer than, say, this, I guess. So this is probably the newest one. So if this is the newest thing in here, I'm going to do really well. That means they haven't been checked out by anybody modern age on eBay, probably. So.
You want me to pull out some more?
Why don't I pull up a box over here?
I got it.
Oh, yeah, I love this song.
The Pink Panther.
Henry Mancini.
Yeah.
I know that's, tip it forward just so they can tilt it. Yeah,
Like
there you
this?
go. Yeah, because the
Okay.
glare. Henry Mancini, I grew up watching, my parents used to take us when I was like 6 to see the Pink Panther movies with Peter Sellers. And I thought they were the bomb with Kato and the whole karate accents. The song, I like Pink Panther. We do have classical on my
That's a nice
MP3 list.
You want me to
So
put it-
yeah, why
put
don't you?
these back?
Well, no, let's put them here so in case we want to look through some more. Let me
okay.
grab some.
Don't
We'll
hurt
crush
the dog.
here. Hey, little girl. I'm just going to pick this box here. It's right here in front of me.
those
So
were dusty.
they're dusty. They've been on storage. That's a good sign, having all this dust on them. It means they've been sitting for a while. And this is after we've moved them. So
I just don't want a spider to crawl out. Or
maybe, yeah. I don't think in the temperature it was. It was cold. It was below 0 outside just a little bit ago. So more James Gang too. Didn't you have some James? Yeah, James Gang just a few minutes ago. Walk Away. I know that song.
I like the Walk Away. Yeah, that's
Walk
a good
Away.
one.
I don't. Midnight Man's okay too.
It's all the same. I like that one.
See with the record.
Ooh.
Oh, it's a import too. It's German import. Imports on older stuff aren't as expensive or as sellable, but stuff like this is good import stuff here. These are harder to get, and if I look this up, maybe I'll get lucky and there'll be some songs that are only available on this version of it. But excellent copy, import German. I can tell you right now, this one's sealed.
Arthur Rubinstein.
Totally sealed. This is just an incredible lot. Storage units I don't mess with because of space. This one I got an insider information on again, so this one I hopped up on. And again, the wife was a little irritated. Don't blame her. We fill the house sometimes.
Yes.
And there's a lot of records here. Now, we're going to take some of these to storage after we go through them. And I'll probably be able to sell a bunch of the ones that I don't want to mess with that are the lower end ones at some local auctions. So half of these will be either in storage or there, and then we'll decide what to do from there. But this is our next 2 or 3 days here. I won't do much other picking unless I get some good calls. Next week, Tuesday, I have a call to go look at almost 5,045 records. So if it all goes through, hopefully next week I'll get another big batch of records. And I'll go through 45s with you too. But people don't mess with these. I mess with classical all the time. This is sealed. I can pretty much guarantee you I'm going to get $15 for this one. It's a double. It's a red seal, better condition, full stereo.
I'm showing that.
Pardon me?
I'm Show them the red seal.
Well, it's kind of hard to see it, but they're red seal. Some of these are like digital recorded. This one's going to be at least $15 or $20, I guarantee it. It looks like it has a special promo label of some kind on it. It's Tchaikovsky and Rachmaninoff. I would probably listen to this if it wasn't sealed. But here's another one. I think we both like jazz.
Oh, yes.
Miles Davis. Miles Davis go for a ton of money. Me and the wife both took jazz history in college. Not the same class, unfortunately, but yeah. I did my paper on Bix. If you don't know who that is, look him up.
I did mine on ragtime.
She picked ragtime.
Yeah, I grew up on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, so we're about 40 minutes away from New Orleans, and sometimes I would skip school and go with my friends to the French Quarter, and I just love the street musicians out there. I mean, and then you and I would go too.
We used to go to the French Quarter all the time before we had kids, and every year we'd go at least once or twice to the coast. Yep. Wherever we lived, we'd go to the Gulf of Mississippi and go to New Orleans, and all across the whole Gulf Coast. We'd go through Alabama, Troy. We have friends. We've been over the Selma Bridge, the whole works. We've been all over there.
My father was friends with Pete Fountain. If you don't know him, he was a famous clarinet player. He was originally from Bay St. Louis, my hometown, and my dad would read meters and work on power lines, and whenever Mr. Fountain would see him, he would invite him in for coffee and beignets. After Katrina, we went by his house in Bay St. Louis, and his Mercedes was up in a huge oak tree. We have a picture of that, too.
Yeah, it's a white Mercedes sitting up, and it's his. We know it is because there's a picture. We have a picture of her.
And he has the American flag hanging down.
Still hanging. She was on a float with him, too, for one of the Mardi Gras floats and stuff. And I got a picture of her as a little leprechaun on a float with Pete Fountain. But this one I'm keeping. I'm keeping this one.
What's that?
The one thing, I collect records. I love war movies. I've got Kelly's Heroes on the LP. I've got, you name it, Guns of Navarone. I watched war movies with my dad. He passed when I was 17, so... One of the things that I always keep, I've got a ton of soundtracks. I'm not even going to look at this one. This one's already gone, so anyway.
Oh, I love the artwork on that.
Oh, yeah, this is pretty bad. This is Ruth Wallace. Now, she's a comedian, so you got to be careful on some of these. These are like adult comedy. Most people wouldn't know that, but that's who it is, so anyway. Now, I'm not a big country person, so I don't know who likes Alabama, but somebody will. It's actually sealed. It's sealed, too.
My cousins had that same album.
Yeah, unopened, sealed. This looks like it's maybe their first one. It still has the $8 price tag on it.
Oh, Mountain Music, yeah.
I don't know Alabama at all, so nothing against country music, just not my thing. I like the Oak Ridge Boys and Elvira and stuff like that, or Counting Flowers on the Wall, their earlier stuff. But here's a good one. Paul Simon.
Oh, yeah.
This one is a quadrophonic version. It comes out more tracks or something. It sounds better. I don't get into all that stuff. You need special equipment to play it, but this adds to the value. In fact, it's got a thick liner in it, too. Picture liner. Let's see what the discs look like. Oh, it's a nice one. Original disc, and it looks about mint. But quadrophonic ones on anything, if it says quadrophonic, they're worth more money. It'll say SD up here, or SO, I think. Here's another country.
The dog's snoring. I didn't know what the sound was.
T.J. Shepherd. This one is actually autographed. I don't know if you can see that. See if you can see that. It's autographed. T.J. Shepherd. I don't know who T.J. Shepherd is. I recognize the name, but I don't know what he sings.
I know.
If anybody knows what he sings, it's autographed. It's here.
Well,
maybe she'll recognize a song out of it. I'm not big on, again, that's probably like a country, I would gather. Here's something I know.
Nope.
I guess neither of us know who T.J. Shepherd is. I know the name. I can't think what it is. I know the record label, too. I'm going to just give you out another warning here on records. If you buy a lot of records, and there's a bunch of early 60s ones in there, look through every one and be cautious, because sometimes people stuff their illicit paraphernalia or substances inside there from their parents, and occasionally I'll run across money, and I don't want to say it in the video, but I think you guys get a certain green substance that shows up in stuff like this. That is a fact you are going to run into.
It's always basil.
It's basil, yeah, it's basil. But anyway, you're going to run into it. I promise you, if you buy enough. I wouldn't doubt it if there's some in some of these records right here, because it happens. Just FYI. John Cougar, grew up on him. You can't really go wrong. Scarecrow.
I always like Jack and Diane.
Jack and Diane. I can't think of every song he's got, but he's got so many of them. It's kind of
Hurt So Good was a
Hurt
good
So
one.
Good. Those are the kind I like better. Here's one I know too. I went and seen these guys. Aerosmith.
Okay.
Rocks. Back in the Saddle. Rats in the Cellar. Let me think. What's the other ghost ones on here? I guess those are the ones that I know. It's no barcode too, so almost every one of these is the correct edition. Spotless.
I never got to go to any concerts.
Barcode. This one should have a barcode. This one's barcode era. Next one I remember, Journey. I can't. Don't Stop Believing. Who's Crying Now?
No, Family Guy when they're all singing the karaoke.
Oh yeah.
Don't
You can't.
stop believing.
And everybody came up.
That was.
We watch Family
Joe.
Guy. Not as much anymore these days. We like Futurama too. If you like Futurama, Boston. This is an original. It's a gatefold. You can't go wrong with Boston. Amanda. I'm not a big fan of Amanda. Cool the Engines though. You can't beat that. Either way, good album. Third Stage.
Yeah.
Again, it feels like there's something in this one, but I doubt it. Again, you're going to find stuff in these records. I'm telling you. Nazareth, you can't beat that.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, this is Frazetta artwork on the cover, if I'm not mistaken. Frazetta fan. I'm almost sure that's who that is, just by the looks of it, if nothing else. Hair of the Dog, if you don't know that, I'm not going to sing the song because there's some words in it that I can't say.
Conan, when he dressed up as
Conan, yeah.
Dressing up as Ronald McDonald,
McDonald did that.
slapping stuff out of people's hands.
Yeah, I don't recognize the songs on here, but anyway. Yes, I know Yes. They don't have many songs, but this is Roger Dean. I know the artist on this.
I like Roger Dean.
We've got a couple books, and it's a gatefold.
Yeah.
It's an original, no barcode writer.
He came up with those geodesic houses.
Oh, like
the
Xanadu,
domes.
yeah.
Like the Xanadu house. Those were wild.
Here's Rush.
Yeah, I'm not really a big
I'm not a Rush fan, so we won't look at it
there's
very
some
much.
naked dude on the back.
It's an original gatefold, no
Nobody
barcode.
needs to see that.
Let's just see what else. These Rush records, though, I sell them all the time. Every Rush I get in, I sell. If I don't get $10 or $15 a piece for them, I can get rid of them in a lot either way. But most every Rush I get $15, $20 for. Again, I don't listen to the Rush at all, so I don't know about what they sound like. What is this one?
Oh, no, that's cute. I like the armadillo.
Armadillo's pretty cool, but I don't know who this is. Leo Kottke.
I have no idea. I like the armadillo on it.
It's a Santa. Oh, even the record label's pretty good on it. Now, I'll have to look this one up. Who knows? Some of these oddball labels from some little dinky place are worth some money sometimes. We've gotten lucky and then bought up like a big warehouse lot of records or CDs. That's how you get on Amazon, is get a wholesale deal. But anyway.
It's a cute little cover.
Beatles Country with Charles River Valley Boys.
I have no idea.
Okay, now I know what this is. Everybody redid the Beatles songs in the 60s. I don't know if they did them with permission or not, but this is like country versions without maybe it has singing in it or maybe it doesn't. I'm not sure. Doesn't say. But either way, they rehashed the Beatles songs and there's classical versions. They redid everything else. The one below it looks like it's another one of these kinds. These go for $10 or $15. It's a 60s Electra. It's an original label. Looks minty. I bet you $1 million I'll get like $10, $15 for this minimum. Especially in mint condition, because this thing looks mint. Yeah, that armadillo is pretty cool.
I like the armadillo.
This I'm almost sure is Tommy.
Oh,
the choir version or orchestra. Yeah, it's the London Symphony Orchestra's version of Tommy. I'm almost sure I had this before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's Tommy. It's Tommy.
Oh, that's neat.
There's something else in here, too. Let's see what else is in this one. Oh, it's got the book with it, too. Check that out. Oh, and it's got picture poster things in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, see, stuff like this you got to look for. These sometimes can go for more than a record because these get lost, ruined, or written on.
This is nice.
It's a box set version. I'm guessing $15, $20 minimum.
Numbers remind me of Art Deco.
Look like poker chips to me.
Yeah, like an Art Deco poker chip.
Chips. It looks good. Let's see what the record looks like. Again, even if this isn't the Who performing it, which it looks like it actually might be. I'll have to look this one up again. Some of these you only see once in a while. It's been a long time since I saw one of these.
Just don't mess with it.
And I didn't see it with the book, so I don't know what came with the book.
This dust is itching my nose.
Yeah, a lot of dust. As I'm saying, these have been in storage. No Let me just grab a stack out of the middle here. We won't go through a bunch more. I'll probably just end it with this stack just because I think we're probably close to an hour already for today. But we're going to do another video just going through some records for those that are interested. I'll kind of scatter them so it's not just a whole bunch of records all in a couple days in a row. And maybe we'll go on live if you want to go on live on Thursday. And we'll show you some more records and talk. And you can ask questions just on records. Maybe we can hit something on. I make a ton, and I do mean a ton of money on records. On Amazon alone, you can sell thousands of dollars of records without a problem a month. I promise you. So there's so many other things to do. That's how I got my feet in the door. We both were able to get this stuff going up on Amazon. So once it started on Amazon, we did enough sales and records and stuff. I've been ungated across the board on all kinds of stuff. Even some toy lines that I thought I'd never get ungated for. It doesn't hurt to click that little button and send it in. Worst thing they can do is ask for a invoice. We have an invoice for music because of CD collections and purchases we bought from wholesalers. So keep that in mind. Oh, I know this one. Zagar and Evans.
Zagar and Evans.
2525. Futurama. They go back in time.
Oh, that's
in the year
what
2525, if man is still alive. I don't want to sing it because I've got a terrible voice. That's the only song I know by them. But the song's a classic. It's in Futurama. It's in some other shows. Futurama does it very well. Big Futurama fan. So anyway. Yeah, they make fun of it. It's a classic comedy one. I like the Zombies.
Oh, I like the Zombies too.
Can't beat the Zombies if you like Psych.
She's not there.
Is that one on there? Yeah, it is.
They
tell her.
That in,
tell her no.
Kill Bill.
Kill Bill. Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh
it
wait,
is.
yeah, it was Kill Bill. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Does it have My Girl on there or
no?
Is that not?
She's not there though. It's like the best one. Oh, and it's still got the original sleeve with the original price sticker.
Look at the cute little parrot on there too.
And it's mint. It's on a parrot. You'll get to know the labels here. I don't have to look up every one of these, obviously. I might refresh myself as we go through them. I will have other people here look these up because these are standards. I'll pick out the ones they can mess with looking up, and then I'll look out the rest of them. Hard Mother Blues, Ernie Wilkins. This is a mainstream. It's the Red Lion label. That's all I can tell you. You just got to know the labels. It's an original. It's like a bluesy funk. You got to know what it sounds like or you don't. I mean, you can tell.
Love the side,
I was just going to say.
Sideburns.
You can tell by the sideburns on the
Holy
kind of music.
moly.
It reminds me of Mongo. Can't think of his name.
I know who you're talking
Mongo, in the summertime he does. Mongo Santia Marino or Mario. I can't remember his name, but if you type it in the summertime and put in Mongo, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Small Faces. It's got some damage. Somebody just must have ripped off the tape or the bottom stream. Let's see what's in here. Yeah, it's the original label too.
Oh, the record looks
nice. Looks like mint. Not a spot on it. It's got a 1 stamper on it, so this is a first pressing. It's like $10-15. It would be worth probably 10 or 15 more than that if this isn't damaged. I will buy them damaged again, and the reason being that people will have a nice cover and have a damaged. The record's warp. You don't sell yourself short and donate a cover thinking you can't sell a cover. I have sold some Blue Note covers for $150, $200, $300. Depending on it. And Picasso did some covers for some records. Who cares what the record is when you're buying those? They sell for the cover mostly. There's some Folkways, if you don't know. Here's a real good record. Dog Police. And I don't remember who's in this group. Let me see if I can recognize the name. I think they've disguised their name, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember who these guys are, but I know the last one of these I sold for $40. I don't remember. It's like an 80s, if I remember right.
What songs they sing up?
Nothing I've heard of until I listened to the record.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's an original. It's got some kind of shoe company label on the, or no, it's a production company sticker on the inside.
Oh.
We'll just shove that in. I know this one though. This one will sell. I promise you, this is a good one. I mean, we're hundreds of dollars now. I mean, I might get all my money back from a box or two here, the way it looks. This one I know. Hopefully you know who that is. Guy in the middle, that's Paul McCartney. This is Wings. Remember Wings? They did one of the James Bond songs, Live and Let Die is Wings, if I'm not mistaken. Uncle Albert. They've got Jet. They've got a bunch. So anyway, it looks like it's a real nice copy. These aren't super popular. They don't go for a ton of money. I'll probably put this one a lot. It's probably like a $4 or $5 record at a show or something if I'm lucky. John Entwistle. This is Psych all day long. This is Key Psych. Track Record. This is like another small company. They did some really good records. This might be an import if I'm not mistaken. Let me see what the record company name is on there. Great Britain, yep. It's a Great Britain import. She probably doesn't know who this is, but I listen to this stuff sometimes when we're doing stuff. I'll just throw a record on, put the headphones on. Rock and Roll Collection. Oh, there's a bunch of these.
I'm going to have to take a Benadryl after this.
Yeah, the dust in these. It's a 4-record set. They're all there. These I don't sell singly. It looks like there's a bunch here in this one. Most people pass on these, but I got like nothing into these. A few pennies. I'll probably be able to put these together in a lot because I'm sure there's more. Yeah, there's more. Wow, these are different. Something like this, I'll just save them up and I'll put like 10 or 15 of these in a lot. I'll probably get 60 or 70 bucks for them for 10 or 15. Again, I got pennies, and I mean pennies into them. Here's a second pressing if it's in there. Yeah, it's in there. This isn't huge. I'll probably throw this with something else. I'll get like a couple bucks out of this one here. This is probably the worst one so far, dollar-wise. I'll just put a couple more. Just let's see what else we got in here. I'm not being too selective, but let's pull out this stack here, just because I want to show you this one here. Susie Quancho. Do you remember? You know who she is? You remember her?
Nope.
If you ever watched Happy Days.
Oh, yeah, Fonzie's girlfriend.
Pinky Tuscadero. Yeah. This is Fonzie's girlfriend. I know this by heart because
I saw the back and I recognized.
Yeah, the back. Yeah. This is more like what she looked like on the show. She wore a pink leather coat. She dated Henry Winkler in the show as it. It's the only reason I know who this is because I remember that right off the bat. And I knew she had albums out. I've had a couple before. I think it's worth like $10 or so if I'm not mistaken. But nice record. Original. First press. Harper's Bazaar. I think they're like instrumental. Yeah, it's probably like the plastic inner sleeve. Yeah, see, it's supposed to be like that.
All the dust just flew.
Dust flying off, yeah. Paul Revere and the Raiders. Now, I went and seen them, yeah.
I didn't go see them. I listened to them.
They had the classic rock superfest here in town, and it was Paul Revere, Mark Lindsay. It wasn't the Paul Revere and the Raiders. It was just Mark Lindsay. He did Cherokee Nation and the whole works when I was there. I like him. You know, you can't beat him. That's a good one. Looks like an original. It's got the inner liner. Mint disc. Most of the discs you see are mint. That's what the plus on this. I looked through some of the records before I bought them. It's like spotless. I mean, almost every one in here is spotless. I wouldn't have bought these if I thought they weren't. And this isn't the same box I looked through. So just adding up what I see so far in the box that I looked through, I've already got my money back. And I've still got 70 plus boxes to look through.
Another Small Faces.
Yeah, I don't really know what they do. It's the right record.
Too bad it's not Faces with Rod Stewart.
Yeah, Rod Stewart's first group. Jan and Dean, Little Deuce Coupe. If you don't know the story of them, they did a song called Dead Man's Curve about a road in, I think it was California. Yeah, they're beach guys too, along with the Beach Boys. People back then couldn't tell the difference if you didn't know. And when I first heard them, I thought it was the Beach Boys. But they sung a song called The Dead Man's Curve about somebody going off the curve on this, because they used to race down here. And I don't remember which one it was. Maybe Dean Torrance, I think maybe, or something his name is. And he actually got in a terrible car accident and ended his career. He was actually, still is, I think, partially paralyzed. He couldn't perform, and he was major issues. I remember seeing him on TV like 20 years after this happened, and he looked terrible still. So anyway, we're going to cut it here just because that's pretty long. These are both good records. I'd get 10, 15 bucks, I'd gather. At least 5. The condition looks awesome. Sidewalk Surfing I like. My kids liked it, if I remember right.
They do.
When they were young, didn't we used to play that?
Mm-hmm.
I play everything. The records all look, VG Plus or better. No scratches, no smears or anything else like that. So that's a touch on what we got here. We're going to come back and we're going to do this again. We'll show another haul through here and show you. And then maybe we'll throw some on live and you can ask questions on some of it. We'll pull a box out or something and show. So hopefully that shows you what we do as well. I don't show as much of this because it's a lot more work.
Yes.
She's had to put up with this for the last day. It's a whole day process. We started at like 6 this morning. Unfortunately, the weather was just god awful. We had no choice. Everything was set up. I had employees and everything else. I've got $160 in just labor to get this here and get this all done to this point. So not counting over $1,000 in actually purchasing it. So she spent the day helping and she fed everybody and
made homemade gumbo.
Made gumbo and everything. Yeah. So, it's been an event for everybody here. My kids, one of them was with school events, and the other one was sick. My youngest has been on and off sick ever since this whole incident. So, we're taking them back for investigation and some other issues now. So, maybe tied to what's going on. We don't know now. Yeah. So, not going to get nervous yet. We're just going to play it by ear.
Oh, no, we'll get nervous.
Well, we'll be nervous, but we're going to play it by ear. We're trying to think of other things. We got all this other stuff going on. So, hopefully that gives you some ideas. If you got any questions, you want to know anything, anything like that here, we'll be happy to answer questions records-wise. I know I'll probably get some people asking for specific records when we start digging into this. I've already had some people email and ask me if I get this or that out of this lot. My son's already claimed all the AC/DC records.
Yes, he loves them.
She'll probably take Tina Turner.
Ike and Tina, yes.
Maybe the Bowie, if there's any Bowie in here. But again, there's almost 8,000 records. We went through showing you maybe... We didn't even finish a box. We didn't even finish one box. So you've seen maybe 100 records.
I've seen another 100. With these.
Yeah, we were talking about a DJ booth out of it, and then a big fort out of it. But anyway,
fort.
like in Family Guy or something. Yeah. But anyway, we're gonna let it go with that. This is us. This is what we do. Hopefully, that gave you some ideas. Storage unit again, and we will have part 2, maybe a part 3, and then the live coming out still this week. So have a good evening.
Bye.